Textbook exercise 3.4. You have two linear demand curves that go through the same initial equilibrium E1. One of the demand curves is less elastic than the other one at E1. The question asks us, for which of the two demand curves will the price increase cause a larger consumer surplus loss? Now, they both pass through the same point, E1. And the less elastic demand curve is going to be steeper than the more elastic one. Why is that? It's because dq dp is going to be larger in absolute value for the more elastic demand curve. So the less elastic demand curve is going to be this one. It's going to be the steeper one. And the more elastic demand curve is going to be the flatter one. So we'll call D1 the less elastic one, D2 the more elastic one. Now let's look at what happens when there's a price increase. So let's suppose the price goes up from P1 to P1 prime. Originally, at E1, they were both consuming Q1. But after the price increase, according to the demand curve D1, the quantity demanded changes to Q1, and according to D2, the quantity decreases to Q2. The change in consumer surplus for the less elastic demand curve is the area between the prices below the demand curve. So it's this area here. The change in consumer surplus for the more elastic demand curve, again, is the area between the prices below the demand curve. So it's this area over here. So it's clear to see that the consumer surplus loss was bigger for the less elastic demand curve than it was for the more elastic demand curve. And this makes sense because the demand curve, which is less elastic, is less responsive. So the effect of the price increase is going to be greater.